Good morning, everyone. Thank you for presenting today's board meeting. I am General Tan Sri Muhammad bin Muhammad Ali, the chairman of this meeting. Without further ado, let us start our meeting now. Vinci, could you please confirm the presence to quorum?
Okay, sure, Mr. Chairman. Everyone is present, General. We shall proceed our meeting now.
Thank you, Vinci. Since the requisite quorum being present, I hereby call the meeting to order. I would like to commence the meeting by introducing fellow company directors. Dato' Irfan bin Badri, Nati Imeda binti Mazlan, Dato' Nazir bin Amin. Besides, I would like to welcome the auditor from Miss Crow Malaysia PLT, Mr. Tan Kok Seng. All right, with the consent of the members present, I declare that the notice of board meeting having been circulated for the prescribed period was taken as read. Vinci, could you please read the procedure for the meeting and explain the voting procedure to us?
All right, Mr. Chairman. The procedure for the meeting will be followed by the agenda written in the notice of the board meeting. First, the chairman will announce to the end the discussion of any resolution and go into voting. Second, all the resolutions set out in the notice of the board meeting will be voted by shows of hands. And the third, every director has one vote. A resolution is passed if it agreed to by all directors without dissent, or if a majority of votes cast on it are on favor of it. Any question from the floor? If there is no question, General, you may proceed to the first agenda.
Thank you, Vinci, for the clarification regarding the procedure for the meeting. Before moving to our first agenda of meeting today, do you have any matters arising from the previous meetings?
For the matters related to previous meeting, there are matters that we would like to get the confirmation from all the company directors. The first matter is regarding to the investment in Rancak Travels in Berhad, that we approve that to invoice 40% on the shares issued by Rancak Travels in Berhad. The second matter is about the loan from M-Bank. A loan of 70,000 has been approved to support our business. The third matter is that there will be a creation of charge of RM 5,000 for acquisition of the loan. May I know there is a question or objection from the company directors?
Thank you, Vinci, Miss Vinci, for the clarification. Everything is good from my side.
Thank you, Vinci, for bringing out the matters arise from the previous meeting. I have no question and everything is clear for me.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wisi, for the explanation. I have no objection for the matters mentioned and it sounds pretty well for me.
Thank you, Ms. Vinci and the company directors for the clarification of the previous discussion. Without wasting our time, we will discuss our first agenda, which is to review and approve the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2021. Therefore, I would like to invite a representative from Ms. Crew Malaysia PLT, who act as our external auditor today, to give their opinion on the 2021 financial statement.
Okay, thank you, Dr. General Tan Sri Muhammad, for giving me the opportunity to provide an opinion. First of all, I am Mr. Tan Kok Seng, a representative from Ms. Crown Malaysia PLT. As an independent auditor, we have performed audit work on the financial position for the year ended 30 June 2021. Okay, statement on profit or loss and other comprehensive income, cash flow, and notes to the financial statement, including a summary of significant accounting policy as set out on page 151 to 168. In our opinion, the accompanying financial give a true and fair view in the financial position of the company as at 30 June 2021 and is accorded with the generally accepted accounting principle GAAP.
All right. I believe that everyone has read and understood the audited financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2021. Are there any questions that you would like to ask?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a question to ask. After reviewing the financial statement for the year ended 3 June 2021, I found that the company's profit decreased even though our sales increased compared to 2020. How can this happen?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Yes, Dr. Irfan, I agree with your view. In fact, our sales have increased by 18% compared to 2020. This shows our company is able to survive even in the era of COVID-19. Nevertheless, There has been an increase in terms of expenditure, which show it's increasing faster than our sale. For your information, our company has developed an online sales system to increase sale in 2021. As a result, there is a significant chance in expenditure in 2021.
A good explanation from our representative auditor. So what about our dividend payments? It remains at 6% even the company's profit decline.
An interesting question to discuss. Yes, Dr. Imelda, the dividend will be maintained at 6% even if there is a decrease in profit. The decision was made after examining the company ability to repay debts and so on. So I suggest for company to maintain its dividend payment.
All right, thank you for your explanation.
Is there any more question? All right, if no more questions, I would like to put the resolution to vote. Please raise your hand if you agree to approve the audited financial statements. All right, since everyone agrees, I hereby declare that the resolution to review and approve the audited financial statement of the company for the financial year ended 30th June 2021 is passed. Thus, the audited financial statement will be issued on Bursa Saham Malaysia for the benefit of stockholders and stakeholders. I believe that everyone is ready right now. And yes, we will proceed with our next agenda regarding the matters of retirement and re-election of the directors. At first, we will start with the retirement of the directors. Actually, we need to select the members from our board for retirement by rotation, and hence we will select them based on clause 104 of the constitution in the board meeting. This is to comply with our company constitution. So, Ms. Vinci, could you please explain more about this matter?
Yes, Dato'. According to clause 104, 1/3 of directors of the company for the time being shall retire by rotation and an annual general meeting of the company. All the directors shall retire from the office at least once every 2 years. Besides, a director retiring at a meeting shall retain office until the conclusion of the meeting. In relation to this, I have referred to register of directors and highlighted that Dato' Nazir bin Amin and Dato' Nancy Nair will be retired due to clause 104. Each of board has fulfilled the requirement of the rotation. With regards to this, under the clause 106 subsection 2 of the company's constitution provides that any directors appointed shall hold the office until the next AGM and shall then be eligible for the re-election. Dato' Nazir bin Amin and Dato' Nadir, who were appointed since the last AGM, are standing for re-election as director, and they have consent to be re-elected as directors for the company. For the purpose of determining the eligible of the director to stand for the re-election at the 10th AGM, the board through the Nomination and Remuneration Committee (NRC) has assessed the retiring director considering the following. The first is the director performance and contribution based on the self and peer assessment result of the board effective evaluation B 2020-2021. The second, the director's level of contribution to the board deliberations to his skills, experience, and strength in qualities. And the third, the level of independence demonstrated by the independent director and his ability to act in the best interest of the company in decision making. Hence, according to the situation that were mentioned just now, what about you, Dr. Nazir?
Yes, I agree with Ms. Vinci regarding to the clause 104 about the rotation, and I will voluntarily retire from board during the AGMs.
Yes.
That sounds good since the information was going to be more detailed. I believe that the decision is good for a company in terms of the management and the performance.
I agree with Dato' Irfan since our company must comply with the company constitutions, rules and law provided to make sure the company's objective was achieved. Dato' Nazir, Dato' Nathan, I will proceed the procedure that needs to be fulfilled after this meeting.
I understand what Ms. Vinci mentioned. However, the retired director can be re-elected again during the next AGM, right?
Yes, I just mentioned according to clause 106 subsection 2, The retired director can be re-elected again if the retired director agrees with an ordinary resolution has been passed by members.
In relation with what Ms. Vinci mentioned just now, I would like to ask you all whether you all agree to re-elect Dato Nazir and Dato Nata as directors of the company. Those who agree with the re-elect of Dato Nazir, Dato Nata, and as our directors, please raise your hand. All right, so everyone agrees with the re-elected of the directors during the next AGM. So I would like to conclude that we will have 3 directors to retire from the board meeting during the next AGM, in which Dato Nazir and Dato Nata will be retired by rotations. However, they will be re-elected again to become directors during the next AGM. No more questions regarding this? Okay, hereby I declare that the agenda is resolved. Let's proceed with the next agenda, which is to discuss directors' remuneration, which include fees and benefits for the next year. Regarding this, I would like to call upon Dato Irfan as the member of the Remuneration Committee to explain on the director's fee and benefits for the chairman and each non-executive director of the company. Now we shall proceed with the voting. Can you propose, Dato Irfan?
Of course, Chairman. Thank you. Last month, we had the remuneration committee meeting to review the remuneration of the board, and we have decided to remain director fees and benefits for each director. This is due to the consideration of the COVID-19 pandemic that the company is facing now. And we as board of the directors should do our best in reducing company operating costs. The fees for the chairman and each non-executive director of the company remain RMC 100,000 and 360,000 respectively.
Excuse me. Speaking on the behalf of a non-executive director of the company, the meeting allowance is allowed to provide for attending board and committee meetings. This will be encourage the active participation of directors to the meeting. We have proposed to give a meeting allowance to each director after the meeting, starting by the next year. The meeting allowance will be calculated according to the benchmark that we have set based on the advice of the expert, and it will be paid immediately after the end of the board meeting.
We have discussed this as well. The purpose of meeting allowance is not only to encourage and cover the expenses incurred by the director to attend the meeting, but it's also to encourage the productivity of each director. When directors attend the meeting, so that each of the directors could perform their best during that meeting.
Yes, I'm not objecting to the non-executive directors being paid so well. Is this applicable too at the committee meeting?
Yeah, what do you think, Dato Irfan?
That's still applicable for both board and committee meeting. Sure. Yeah.
As our perspective, we feel that the non-executive director has been dedicated with his work being towards the company. So why not?
So should we proceed with the voting for this agenda?
Yes, I agree with it.
Okay, so yeah, since most of the shareholders agree with the payment of director and non-executive director fees for the next year, so now we shall proceed to the next agenda. For our next agenda, which is the reappointment of auditor and fixing of auditor fees. First of all, our auditor, Ms. Korea Malaysia PLT, has been appointed as our auditor for 2 years since the beginning of the year 2019. In the next AGM, it will be reappointed again as our auditor for the coming year. With regard to this, I would like to ask the approval from you all, and please raise your hands if you agree with this. Good. So next, we will continue with the fixing of the auditor fee. As of this year, we pay a total of 45,000 to them for the audit fee. However, they has mentioned that next year the audit fees will increase to 50,000 per year.
All right, I see. But do they mention any reason regarding this? Since they have increased about 5,000 for the fees.
Yes, let me explain about this. The increasing of the auditor fees is due to the increasing of the cost incurred when we perform the audit works.
Yes, thank you for the explanation. Any questions regarding these matters?
No,
No.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, as you all have no more questions, for those who agree with this, please raise your hand. So I conclude that we will reappoint Ms. Crew Malaysia PLT again as our auditor, and the audit fees will be fixed at 50,000 per annum. So moving to our fifth agenda, which is the declaration of the final single tier dividend of ordinary share for the financial year ended 30 June 2021. Vinci, could you please explain more about the rules and the requirement of the declaration of the dividend?
All right, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with the Section 131 of Company Act 2016, a company may only make distribution to the shareholders out of profits of the company available if the company is solvent. On 24 August 2020, the board has considered the amount of dividend and decided to recommend the same for the shareholders' approval.
Thank you, Vinci. May I know where is the last date we made the distribution to the shareholders?
Our last distribution to the shareholders are made on 20th December 2020 in accordance with Section 132, Subsection 2 and Subsection 3 of Company Act 2016. The directors of the company need to be satisfied that the company will be solvent as it will be able to pay its debt, and when the debts become due within 12 months, immediately after the distribution is made.
Thank you, Vinci. I hereby declare that a final single tier dividend of 17 cents per ordinary share for the financial year ended 30 June 2021 will be distributed to the shareholders. May I know if all the directors have any questions or need more clarification regarding this matter?
No question.
No question,
No
Mr.
question.
Chairman.
Okay, so for those who have no questions and agree to the matter, please raise your hand. I hereby conclude that a final single tier dividend of 17 cents per ordinary share for the financial year ended 30 June 2021 to be distributed to the shareholders. So moving to the sixth agenda, which is the authority to issue shares pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of Companies Act 2016. Ms. Vinci, can you please explain this?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Section 75 and 76 of Company Act 2016 give the company's director the authority to issue and allot shares upon the approval by the way of resolution by the company that has been obtained. Furthermore, such authority shall take effect immediately upon the passage of this resolution and shall remain in effect until the company's next annual general meeting.
Thank you, Vinci, very much. Ms. Vinci, is there anything else you would like to know about this?
No, Mr. Chairman.
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, if there's no questions, for those who agree and approve with this, please raise your hand. Okay, so thank you, and hereby I declare that the agenda has been resolved. Now let's proceed with our seventh agenda, which is the proposed change of the name of the company, namely Ranchak Niaga Berhad will be changed to Ranchak Niaga Holding Berhad. Regarding this, I would like to invite Datin Imelda to explain further details on the proposed change of company name.
All right, as agreed in the last board meeting, I have reserved the new name of the company, which is Ranchak Niaga Holdings Berhad. I have attached my email, the circular to shareholders in relation to the proposed change of name that I have drafted. So please have a look at it. If there is no corrections required, that I would like to ask our chairman to sign for this circular.
So this proposed change of name will be subject to special resolution in our upcoming AGM, right?
Yes, you are right, Dato' Nazir.
Okay.
I think there are no more comments on the circular. Please show your hand if you have any objection to signing the circular.
All right. I will sign for this circular to shareholders in relation to the proposed change of name. Now let's proceed with our last agenda, which is to approve the resolution to hold the next AGM and to authorize the secretary to issue notice. I suggest we have our next AGM on 30th January of 2023, which will be next year. Is everyone okay with it? Vinci, could you please help me to check whether there are any important company events?
Sure, that's all. During that day, we don't have any significant company event.
Great. How about the others? Will you all be available during that day?
I will only be available during that day until afternoon 3 p.m. I may leave early if the AGM ends late.
I'm available during that day.
Me too.
Okay, so all right, we will have our next AGM on 30th January 2023 to a virtual platform. All members can access our virtual meeting through the Microsoft Teams.
Thank you, Vinci. You can prepare the notice of AGM before we finalize it in our next board meeting.
Okay, yes, Dato', I will send the notice of the AGM to all of you.
All right, so our AGM will be held on 30th January 2023 through Microsoft Teams. Thus, I hereby declare that the agenda is resolved. All right, it's great that we are able to finish all of our agenda. As a review on what happened in this meeting today, Ms. Vinci, could you please help us to conclude what we have discussed today?
Sure, Dato'. We have a total of 8 agendas for today's board meeting. I will briefly conclude for each agenda. The first agenda to receive the audited financial statement for the financial year ended 30 June 2021, together with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon has been reviewed and approved by the board. The second agenda, all board members have agreed with the retirement of directors in the next AGM, in which Datuk Nazir bin Amin and Datuk Nathan Nair will be retired by rotation. In addition, both of them will be re-elected again to become directors during the next AGM. The third agenda, directors' remuneration in terms of fees and benefits will be maintained for coming year. However, there will be meeting allowance provided to directors to act as encouragement of the participative and productivity of during the board meeting. The meeting allowance will be only entitled for the board meeting but not committee meeting. The fourth agenda, board has agreed to reappoint Mr. Tan Kok Seng from Mr. Crowe Malaysia PLT as auditor of the companies, and the audit fees will increase to RM50,000 per year. The fifth agenda, board has agreed that a final single tier dividend of 17 cents per ordinary share for the financial year ended 30 June 2021 to be distributed to the shareholders. The sixth agenda, regarding to the authority to issue shares pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of Company Act 2016, all board members agreed and approved this. The seventh agenda, majority are agreed and accept the change of name of the company from Rancak Niaga Berhad to Rancak Niaga Holdings Berhad. The eighth agenda, everyone agrees that AGM Rancak Niaga Berhad will be held on 30th January 2023 through Microsoft Teams.
Thank you, Ms. Vinci, for the conclusion. If there are no other questions or matters that need to be discussed, I would like to look for a motion to adjourn.
I propose that the meeting be adjourned.
I second the proposal.
I now declare this meeting to be adjourned. Thank you all for coming today, and our meeting has ended now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.